So in this lesson, we're going to look at how to deploy a Rails 7 app to Fly.io. Fly.io is one of the newer hosting services which has become pretty popular, especially among Rails developers. It tries to mimic some of the user experience that Heroku had. And it has a free tier. So that means you can use it for hobby toy apps that you just want to throw up and don't want to spend $5-10 just to try an idea. I'm going to show you how to run through the whole thing. So the first step is to create an account, sign up on fly.io, and then you want to begin by installing their command line utility. It's called flyctl. So depending on your operating system, you can either use brew or this shell script using curl, and the same on Linux and similar on Windows. So that's the first step, install flyctl. Once you have got that installed, then we are going to go to the command line. So I'm inside a directory with a Rails 7 app. It's a very simple app with just a couple of models, and I'm going to try and deploy this to Fly for the first time. So once you've got Fly installed, the command that you can use is fly. And the first thing we want to do is run fly launch, which is going to create an app on Fly. It's going to scan the source code in this directory, and it's going to detect some things, and we're going to say yes. And then it's open up the web interface, and I'm just going to try and choose the smallest instances that I can. Confirm settings. Okay, now we go back here. So I should mention here that the deployment to Fly is based on Docker. It uses Docker by default. So if you don't already have a Docker file in your Rails app folder, then Fly will generate it automatically. Sometimes the default settings that Fly uses may be out of date or may not be those matching your app settings, so you may have to regenerate the Docker file. We'll see that in a second, and we'll see if we need to do that. Because I'm using Postgres, it automatically picked that up and it generated a database and then made this connection string. Okay, so here we can see it has created these files. So here's the Docker file it generated. It's picked up my Ruby version. That's good. Okay. Yeah, I think it should be. It's a pretty simple app, like I said, so it shouldn't be anything too complicated. I think, yeah, we're good to then do fly deploy. Oh, we have an error. What does it say? Key error not found. Oh, yeah. Now, this might be happening because there is an environment variable that is used in one of the initializer files in this app. So I'm going to quickly go over to the app dashboard on the Fly website and add that environment variable. So let's deploy again. And it turns out that didn't quite fix it. This is happening because of a difference between build time and runtime environment variables. When this assets precompile command is run, Rails loads all of our app's configuration, even though it doesn't need it. But during the build, Docker can't access the environment variables we set. It can only access them during runtime, once the app is deployed and running. So we need a workaround. There are a few options mentioned on Fly's documentation. The simplest one here is to modify the Docker file and pass the missing environment variable in line to this command. Here we'll add stripe secret key equals $curly bracket stripe secret key. Now it'll pick up the value from our local environment. The value actually doesn't even matter here. We could put it any fake or dummy value. It's just to stop Rails from throwing an error when it loads the app config. Okay, now let's try and deploy again. And this time it worked. Let's open our app by running Fly apps open, and that'll open the app in the browser. There it is, it's deployed and it works. Fly automatically puts it on a subdomain of fly.dev. That was a quick walkthrough of deploying a simple Rails 7 app on fly.io. Apart from that one small issue with the environment variable, it was easy enough. Not quite as smooth as Heroku, but not bad.